As we celebrate various holidays throughout the year, exploring the historical and cultural roots of these festive occasions becomes an intriguing endeavor. These holy days we celebrate today actually have ancient pagan roots, connecting us to traditions that date back centuries. These early celebrations were a harmonious blend of nature worship, the rhythms of agricultural cycles, and the reverence for numerous deities. Over the course of time, as societies progressed and religions expanded, these pagan festivals underwent modifications and became assimilated into newer cultural and religious customs, including Christianity. Despite their lack of connection to Christ, these combined traditions have given us a vibrant array of holidays that, even in their modern religious celebrations, retain echoes of ancient practices and beliefs. Numa Pompilius was Rome's second king, who was responsible for establishing various institutions that shaped the city, such as the reform of the Roman calendar. The 1st of January that we have come to know as New Year's Day is associated with the Roman god Janus, who represents the opening of new doors and the potential for change. Janus was renowned for his numerous associations, such as his role in guiding transitions and his deep connection to the concept of time. Exhibiting his extraordinary introspection and foresight, he presented himself with two faces, one symbolizing the past and the other symbolizing the future. In ancient Rome, Romans would faithfully gather and offer prayers and sacrifices to Janus on the calends of January, filling the air with the scent of burning incense. This sacred ritual sought the blessings of the Roman god, filling the air with a sense of hope and anticipation for a prosperous year. Roman religious customs placed Janus in a prominent role. His worship's crucial role was evident in how he effortlessly facilitated smooth transitions and ensured prosperity in new endeavors. Janus, who was regarded as the deity responsible for beginnings, gates, transitions, time, doorways, and endings in the Roman mythology, was highly revered through a multitude of rituals and practices, especially during the New Year festivities and important moments of change. The celebration of St. Valentine's Day has its origins in pagan Rome, with connections to the festival of Lupercalia. Lupercalia, held on February 15th, was an ancient fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, as well as to Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. During this festival, Roman priests, known as Luperci, would perform rituals that included the sacrifice of goats and a dog, symbolizing fertility and purification. They would then cut the goat's hide into strips, dip them in sacrificial blood, and use them to gently slap both women and crop fields, believing this would ensure fertility and a good harvest. Women would line up to be touched by the hide strips, believing it would make them more fertile in the coming year. Later in the day, a matchmaking lottery would take place, pairing young men and women for the duration of the festival, often resulting in marriages. As Christianity spread, the Church sought to replace or reframe these pagan traditions. In the 5th century, Pope Gelasius I declared February 14th as St. Valentine's Day, in honor of one or more early Christian martyrs named Valentine. The specifics of St. Valentine's life and deeds remain somewhat obscure, but he became a symbol of love and romance, gradually supplanting the more hedonistic celebrations of Lupercalia. The romantic connotations of Valentine's Day continued to evolve through the Middle Ages, particularly through the writings of poets like Geoffrey Chaucer, who linked the day with romantic love in his work Parliament of Fowls. By the 18th century, the day had become an occasion for expressing love and affection through the exchange of handwritten notes, and eventually, greeting cards, flowers, and other tokens of affection. Thus, St. Valentine's Day transformed from a pagan Roman festival celebrating fertility and purification into a Christian celebration of love and romance, blending elements of both traditions. In the Christian faith, Easter is a celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Holy Week reaches its pinnacle with Good Friday, honoring Jesus' crucifixion, and Easter Sunday, commemorating his resurrection. Some scriptural interpretations, however, suggest that Jesus was crucified on a Wednesday and resurrected on a Saturday, which raises questions about the importance of Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and Easter Sunday. In Matthew 12 verse 40, Jesus draws a parallel between his time in the depths of the earth and Jonah's time in the belly of a great fish, both lasting for a period of 3 days and 3 nights.
Matthew 12:40. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Supporters of the theory that Jesus was crucified on Wednesday argue that the traditional timeline doesn't align with the prophecy, since the period between Friday afternoon and Sunday morning is shorter than 3 days and 3 nights. Based on the Gospel narratives, Jesus was executed on the day before the Sabbath, as stated in Mark 15 verse 42. Many argue that the Sabbath referred to in this passage was not the usual weekly Sabbath, Saturday, but rather a unique high Sabbath connected to Passover, seen in John 19 verse 31. This high Sabbath can fall on various days of the week. Based on this interpretation, Jesus was crucified on Wednesday, buried before the high Sabbath on Thursday, and then rose after the weekly Sabbath, thereby fulfilling the prophecy of 3 days and 3 nights. Although it is not widely embraced in mainstream Christianity, this perspective presents a logical sequence of events that some find convincing in fulfilling Jesus' prophecy regarding the duration of his burial. The Jewish interpretation with a fixed timeline Wednesday to Saturday provides a consistent framework for the resurrection, emphasizing a literal 3 days and 3 nights. The Christian calculation makes Easter a movable feast, which changes every year but maintains a connection to both the Jewish Passover and ancient spring festivals. This allows the celebration to stay aligned with the seasonal cycles. Constantine the Great played a key role in determining the date of Easter by convening the First Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. Before this, different Christian communities celebrated Easter on various dates. The council established that Easter would be celebrated on the first Sunday after the first full moon following the vernal equinox, around March 21st, ensuring it was independent of the Jewish Passover and resulting in a flexible date that changes each year. This decision helped unify the Christian practice of Easter celebration. Because of this calculation, Easter can fall between March 22nd and April 25th. Good Friday, the Friday before Easter, and Easter Sunday change dates each year. Modern-day Easter falls after the 40-day period of Lent, a time of fasting and penance observed by Christians. This period has striking similarities to an ancient Babylonian tradition. According to scripture, followers of Semiramis mourned the death of her son, Tammuz, for 40 days. In both traditions, a significant period of mourning or penance is observed, followed by a celebration of new life or resurrection. Lent, therefore, reflects this ancient practice, blending Christian beliefs with earlier cultural customs, highlighting how both traditions involve a dedicated time of sorrow that culminates in a joyful renewal. In the Christian tradition, Easter is observed today to honor the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Nevertheless, the timing and certain traditions associated with Easter can be traced back to different ancient pagan celebrations. Ishtar, also known as Inanna in Sumerian mythology, held great significance in ancient Mesopotamia as a deity linked to various aspects such as love, fertility, war, and the goddess Venus. Eostra, also known as Ostara, was a deity from Germanic mythology who was connected to the concepts of spring, sunrise, and fertility. The Anglo-Saxons referred to the month of April as Eastermonth because it symbolized the goddess's connection to spring. Spring was welcomed with celebrations honoring her, emphasizing the ideas of rejuvenation and new beginnings. It is probable that customs involved indulging in food, dancing, and igniting bonfires to celebrate the arrival of longer days and warmer temperatures. Eostra was mentioned by the 8th century English monk, the Venerable Bede, in his book The Reckoning of Time. Bede noted that the name of the Christian holiday Easter was derived from her. This shows a mixture of pagan and Christian customs. Easter celebrations have incorporated symbols like eggs and rabbits, which are associated with fertility and rebirth, and are believed to have originated from pagan customs connected to Eostra. Eostra, Ishtar, Semiramis, are often identified with the same figure, the Babylonian Queen of Heaven, whose worship is condemned in the Bible in Jeremiah 7 verse 18. Although Easter is primarily a Christian holiday commemorating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, its timing and certain traditions are influenced by earlier pagan festivals that honored deities such as Eostra and Ishtar. These connections demonstrate how different cultures blend traditions and share common themes of rebirth and renewal during springtime celebrations. The choice of December 25th as Jesus Christ's birth date was not solely based on clear biblical references but rather emerged from a complex interplay of historical, theological, and cultural influences. Early Christian writers held different calculations on Jesus' birth date, and the choice to celebrate Christ's birth on December 25th was made by combining theological reasoning with the practical goal of incorporating existing pagan traditions. The early Christians took advantage of this opportunity to develop a unique festival that would eventually overshadow the existing pagan celebrations in Rome. On December 25th, people celebrated the Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, a day devoted to honoring the powerful sun god Sol Invictus, also known as the birthday of the unconquered sun. Emperor Aurelian established this festival in 274 AD, celebrating the winter solstice and symbolizing the sun's rejuvenation as daylight extended. The ancient Romans observed Saturnalia, a festival that honored Saturn, the god of agriculture and the concept of time. The event was highly revered in ancient times. From December 17th to December 23rd, the air was filled with festive aromas, people dressed in costumes, and the joy of exchanging gifts. December 25th was also considered a sacred day by Mithraism followers, as it symbolized the sun's power in the ancient Persian faith. The day that is famously known as the birth of the sun. Prior to the rise of Mithraism, ancient civilizations such as Phoenicia, Canaan, and Babylon observed winter solstice festivities that revolved around themes of light, renewal, and rebirth. In the ancient territories of Phoenicia and Canaan, the native populations worshipped the gods Baal and Melkart through elaborate ceremonies that honored the cyclicality of farming and the transitions between seasons. In Babylon, the Zagmuk festival was a lively celebration dedicated to honoring Marduk's victory over chaos. It was believed that this triumph would bring back balance to the universe and revitalize the land. The festivals, which have their roots in the rejoicing of the sun's return, bountiful harvests, and the victory of light over darkness, served as the basis for later customs such as Mithraism and Saturnalia. One can observe the lack of any reference to Christ. Christmas, celebrated on December 25th, originated as a Christian response to the popular Roman holidays, incorporating elements from pagan traditions. Christianity's integration into Roman society was made easier by linking Jesus' birth to the symbolic rebirth of the sun and the festive spirit of Saturnalia, resulting in a smooth blending of religious and cultural traditions. Although the Bible strictly forbids the worship of celestial bodies like the sun or moon, pagan Rome ignored this prohibition and incorporated the birth of Christ into their pagan religion. Nowadays, this tradition is still celebrated, as billions of people have been influenced by the teachings of the Roman Catholic Church and prioritize the beliefs of Catholic theologians over the actual scripture.
Kings 23:5. And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven,